Hello and welcome back to Crusader Kings 3. My name's FoZero, and it's been quite a while since I've uploaded on this channel. I think it's been about 8 months now, and a lot has happened in my life to explain my absence. I am now a full-time graduate student in graduate school. I'm also working part-time. I moved. There was really just a lot going on in a short period of time, so I didn't really have a lot of time to just sit down and play Crusader Kings 3 and then also edit it and upload it. So I hope you forgive my absence, and I hope you're excited for my return, because I know that I am. What are we doing today? We're playing as Duke Nuno of Portugal. We're trying to form Portugal, which going in, I was like, first video back. I'm also learning a new editing software. So I was like, all right, this will be a good one. Get a quick recording in, form Portugal. I've never done this before, so I was kind of intrigued as to how it worked. But I was like, this is going to be easy. This is going to be easy peasy, lickety split. I'm going to get this video out in like a few days, and everything's going to be fine. Everything was not fine. This start is actually way harder than I thought it was. You load in, you only really have one county. Everything else is held by your vassals. So you can see in the top right corner, we only have 500 and something troops. Like, we aren't strong. We're a duke, but we are pretty much just a little bit stronger than we would be if we were a one province count. So we need to do a lot of consolidation here. To form Portugal, we actually need to hold pretty much every single duchy that we currently own and every single one immediately to the south. If you've ever seen Portugal on a map today, we need those lands. We need to just have all of Portugal, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I was also kind of toying with the ideas of maybe going for like a status quo or a détente struggle ending, because the only one that I've ever actually done is dominance. And reading through the other ones, they all suck. I don't know why anybody would do this, but the other struggle endings are really hard to get to, and I don't know. I don't know why anybody would do it. I don't think I'm ever going to do it unless I specifically am trying to go for the achievements to do them, but who knows. First thing we're going to do, though, we're going to have our bishop fabricate a claim on my vassal's territory, which is going to take a long time, but because of the Iberian struggle, it's not actually going to cost us any gold. And then we're going to be able to revoke our vassals' titles without actually accruing tyranny if we have a claim on them. So first things first, I had a daughter, and then I got declared war on by this little one province minor, which happens when you only have 500 men, even though you are like 6 times his realm size. And I raised my men right into raiders disembarking on my capital, so yay me. Very smart, very intelligent. I'm just as good at Crusader Kings 3 as when I left off 8 months ago, and we're on a strong start here. Everything is fine. Getting my army wiped out like immediately. Definitely not a setback. So we had to retreat out of this battle and try and lick our wounds a little bit, but thankfully we were in a defensive war, so I was able to just kind of hang out for a little bit. And eventually we just kind of like stared at each other long enough, and I was able to regain some of my men-at-arms. But I did marry off my newborn daughter to this really old guy. His nickname is even The Old. But I tried calling him in, and he was like, your war is pointless. And I was like, you're right. I mean, the war is only a border raid, so in theory we could just surrender, but that's not very fun now, is it? So yeah, I just hung out, recovered my men-at-arms, walked in with a 2-to-1 advantage, and it was remarkably close for how much of an advantage I had here. And this county in particular is going to come back to bite me later on. I absolutely despise this county. It is one of the most defendable counties in the entire game. No matter what the numeric advantage is, no matter what the men-at-arms counter efficiency, your knight effectiveness, your everything. If you are defending in that county, you're going to win. I swear to you. I swear to you. I hate that county with a burning passion. So I was able to get the claim on this county, and I want to try and revoke it, because the more land that's directly held by me, the more levies I'm going to be able to get from it, the more money I'm going to be able to get from it, and the overall stronger I'm going to be within my own realm. He didn't like the fact that I was trying to take his land, and he declared war on me. I also revoked this barony that's in my home county that I should have revoked immediately. I didn't even realize it was there. Props to me for having the perception skill of 1. But I have that under my control now, so we can build buildings in there and have it directly benefit us. But I'm just kind of watching his army wander around, wondering if I can actually fight him. And I'm like, well, he has some cavalry. I don't really have anything to counter it, but I don't have light infantry. I do have archers that are going to get countered. We have defendable buildings, and I walked in and I lost another battle. So we're 1-2 on the battlefront so far, which, not the greatest start that I've ever had in a Crusader Kings 3 run. So why don't I marry off my 3-year-old daughter again? First time didn't really work out. Maybe the second time. She's 3 years old. She's on her second marriage partner. I mean, sometimes stuff like that just happens when we're in the year 1072. But the Barcelonans showed up. We routed their army and then went and sieged down my vassal's territory, captured his son. Always ransom the prisoners before you peace out, otherwise they'll just get released, and it's a waste. Why have a kid in your dungeon if you're not going to make a little bit of gold off of it? You know what I'm saying? So now, what are we after here? What do we really need to go? We need to go south, but the issue with going south is that the person to our immediate south is ridiculously strong. So we kind of have to bide our time and wait for him to not be ridiculously strong. Castile also inherited all of Galicia, so then he started giving away right in front of my eyes all of the counties that the King of Galicia, our former liege, held personally. So I was like, well, shoot, I mean, if they're just serving up free counties on a silver platter, I mean, who am I to say no? So I went from, all right, now it's time to turn our attention to the south, to, all right, free land up north. This is going to be great. So I went in, I nabbed this little county here, and I was like, it's like taking candy from a baby. So naturally, I just got to keep going, Didn't have enough piety, went on a little pilgrimage. We got a holy site in Santiago, so I just kind of like took a walk around the block, came back, and I was like, wow, I feel so holy right now. I'm going to go declare a war. Every single Christian person in the year 1067. So we're back for vengeance in the same county here. Okay, completely trouts his armies right out of the gate. Walk in, say what's up, say hi, say how are you, say not today, this is now my county. I'm going to take this back out of revenge for what you did to me earlier. So I'm looking through our culture because I'm the culture head, trying to be responsible, make sure we got the appropriate innovations, everything like that. Oh, what's that? Oh, did you see it in the background? Oh, what was that? My army's retreating? What happened? There's only 300 men in that county. What happened? He beat 1,000 of my men with 400 in that county, just because that county is ridiculous. I need to, I want to, reliving this now, I want to go back into the game and just see what kind of defensive modifiers and defensive buildings he had in that county, because it was just horrendous. I was able to revoke another county, so now I'm up to three counties, and I've also got an extra barony. Went up for Santiago because this guy was all by his lonesome with no allies and no money, so that's just a recipe for getting gobbled up in Iberia when you're starting in the 1066 start date. I've really kind of noticed the 1066 start date is a lot more hectic in Iberia than the 867 start date. I love starting in Iberia in 867. I think there's a lot that you can do there. But 1066 is just crazy. So while I go and nab this last province from this child to my north, continuing my northward conquest instead of going south like I actually need to, at the same time I'm trying to kill my wife, because my wife is getting old enough at this point that she's not going to have any more kids, and I, as of now, am still without a son. So if we're going to continue this playthrough, I kind of need a son, because I may or may not have been marrying off all of my daughters from extremely young ages non-matrilineally. So if my line is going to continue, I need to have a son, which means my wife has got to go, and since the Pope doesn't like me, which, I walked around the block and I visited the holy site, so I don't know why he doesn't like me. I guess he likes my wife more. Maybe she did like 2 laps or something. But I need to get rid of her. So I did. So I killed her like a good intrigue person, and I found somebody else. I was looking for just someone with like decently high stewardship so that I could get more money, because having your wife have really high stewardship and being able to set her to the stewardship spouse bonus gives you like a ridiculous bonus. It's crazy. So now, instead of going south, I decided to go east, took another county, I had a feast where I kind of dissed my liege a little bit, decided to seduce the new wife to try and get a son. This entire time, I've been kind of reinvesting my gold into my counties to try and stack men-at-arms buffs. I'm trying to build up specific holdings for specific men-at-arms. So like there, I'm stacking skirmisher offense and defense for my light infantry. And I'm trying to do the same thing kind of everywhere, while also balancing making some gold buildings so that I can keep making money. But now I noticed that the realm to my south split up, but they still aren't particularly weak, either of them. They're still really, really strong. So I'm like, what do I do about this? I'm gonna kill him. I mean, that's like, what else can you really do when you're an intrigue spec character? I never play as intrigue spec characters. I don't really know why. I'm not very good at utilizing the bonuses that you get, I don't think. So it's definitely down to some user error. I just vastly prefer martial stewardship and learning as my preferred ones. Kind of more for a play tall strategy. So when I get the intrigue, I'm like, I don't really know what to do besides fabricate hooks, blackmail people, occasionally kidnap somebody and kill 2 people at once. Like, nothing crazy. I've conquered everything except this county. So I'm going back for the 3rd time. Hopefully the 3rd time is the charm, and then I can actually consolidate and start looking south. We are getting a little stronger while we're kind of killing the emirs to our south on repeat, to the point where we now have a child on the throne there. So I'm like, maybe this is an opportunity. But then divine retribution for killing so many people. I was going to have a son, and then my son was stillborn, and my wife, who was also my lover because I had a successful seduce scheme against her, died in childbirth. So not only am I still sonless, but I am wifeless again. So I don't know. My character just really incurred the wrath of God. And then on top of that, he had stacked so many defensive buildings in this county at this point that 1,200 men were not enough to actually siege it down. So I had to spend 100 and something gold on 800 mercenaries just to finish that siege. But now I'm like, hey, I have 800 mercenaries shoved in my pocket that I spent all of this gold on. I really want to go to war with somebody to my south so that I can actually make progress towards the goal that I set out to accomplish 10 or 12 minutes ago in this video by now. So I need to do that. So south we go. Unfortunately, I only border one of his provinces, so I'm going to have to fight like the biggest war of my campaign so far over a singular province. But, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And then we immediately walk in and get trounced. This is going to be another recurring theme because in Iberia at this time, well, I think all over the map for the Muslim characters at this time, their men-at-arms are just really, really good. Our troop quality could not even hold a candle to theirs. That, and on top of this, he managed to spit out an extra 4,000 men and a ridiculous amount of men-at-arms from when we first declared the war, so I just had to surrender. So our first venture south ends in just complete and utter failure, so what do? I kill him. This is going to be, if you haven't caught on to what we're doing this campaign yet, it's a lot of killing, it's a lot of failed invasions, and then we just kind of repeat that cycle. A lot of my gold now, too, went to bribing people to join my murder schemes because people require a lot of cash if you want them to help you murder somebody. But I murdered that kid, and now there's a younger kid on the throne. And I'm like, his heir is the other duke, so if I kill this kid, then the other one is just going to get stronger. And then all of a sudden, I found out that my bishop is eating babies. I don't think I really have to make a joke about this one because I think they kind of write themselves, but my bishop is eating babies. So, make of that what you will. I also couldn't imprison him. It was 0% chance. And apparently, if you try and imprison your bishop and fail, they stay your bishop. So I didn't know that was the mechanic, but after finding out that my holiest man in my realm eats babies, I had one, and this time it was a son. So would you look at that? That's crazy. Another male descendant of my line. Time to kill somebody else's male descendant of their line. And also this guy. Because he's a ruler farther south, and I was actually trying to break up a lot of alliances. But at this point, when I'm doing live voiceover commentary over all of these all of these murders, it's, we're getting a little lost in the sauce of the intrigue here. So yeah, this is where it says, if you fail to imprison him, he's going to stay your bishop, whether or not, he eats babies. Even though that's just like a known secret, still can't get rid of him. At this point, I realized that the child that rules to my south is allied to the Almoravids. So, there's a lot going on there. We need to probably kill him again so that I can actually have a chance at winning this war. I also had a second son who's a dwarf, so that's really cool. This actually, unironically, gave me an idea for the next video that I'm going to do in the next campaign. So stay tuned for that one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but I got to kind of flesh out what exactly I'm going to do and what the idea is going to be. But again, continuing the cycle of trying to kill kids, I actually failed for once. I think this was the first failed plot that my character actually had, besides failing to seduce his third wife because it turned out that she wasn't attracted to men. There's a lot of struggles in this campaign, believe it or not. Also, the AI did something that I've never seen it do before. They formed the Muad'Dib Caliphate, and they turned this like really cool blue color over here. I'd never seen the AI do this before, but I'm really jealous of that blue color, and now I want it. So, maybe that'll be another thing that we have to do in the future. Like I said before, I am definitely partial towards stewardship and learning lifestyles, so I was rejoicing when my son got the stewardship lifestyle. Hopefully he's going to grow up to be a very good steward, and he's going to make the realm a lot of money so that we can build more buildings, and then it snowballs, and then, stewardship is just, it's so overpowered. We killed another kid. I think I pushed him off something, or someone pushed him off something for me. I don't know. I didn't really catch it. I mean, they're just dropping like flies at this point. It's just another drop in the bucket. The ripples go away after just a little bit. This one, now we've actually chain murdered them long enough that the realms actually joined together again. But now they are weak enough that I think I can call in Barcelona and actually take them on again. But then to my horror, I declared this war and then realized that neither of my allies would actually join it because they hate me. So I needed to make new allies. So I allied Morgannog, the Welshman up there. Hopefully they're going to come help me. And then in my dire time of need, I also wind up turning to the Austrians to form a Galician Austro-Welsh alliance coalition to attack the people to my south in Spain. So, I'm not really sure how historically plausible this little coalition that I built is, but I think it was pretty rad. So I just kind of hung up until the Welshmen and the Austrians pulled up, completely starving and out of supplies on my shores because they sailed all the way from Germany. But then, thank God for mountains. We walk in, get the defensive bonus, and I mean, so many of our men-at-arms are countered by theirs because they have that like really nice cavalry. And then also they have the Mubarizun heavy infantry a lot of the times. This stack here actually doesn't have it, but the Mubarizun heavy infantry is really, really good. And I am jealous for not being able to construct it. I haven't really been able to dump a lot of money into men-at-arms because, we've been bribing people to join murder plots, and we've also been trying to build buildings to make our stats on our men-at-arms better, but it turns out just having 100 more men is better than making the 100 men that you do have do 5% more damage. So, a little bit of a math problem there that I failed to work out in the moment. So I was kind of trying to play the long game when I needed to be playing the short game. So, but we did make some progress to the south, finally. Actually, like we're making progress towards the goal that I set out for myself at the beginning of this time to kill another person. And I'm feeling good at this point. I allied our liege because he wanted to marry another one of my daughters, continuing the trend of marrying off daughters way too young, and killing another person. I mean, it's just left and right. There's like the only two things that we do in this playthrough besides lose battles. So after we kill him, 1,400 men, he does have 300 gold, and I'm pretty sure he's Andalusian culture, so you can hire mercenaries for super cheap, which is another reason why wars are super annoying in this region. If your opponent has any amount of gold, like at all, in their Andalusian culture, they can hire a ridiculous amount of mercenaries. Pope gave us access to crusades, and I'm pretty sure pretty soon the Catholics decide to crusade for Jerusalem, but I was so tunnel focused on Iberia, I didn't even check to see if they won at any point. I have no idea what happened with that. I finally realized that instead of just imprisoning him, I can just kill him. I can just kill the baby-eating bishop. It's crazy that that's actually like a nickname that you can get in the game, but I was like, yeah, I'm just going to kill him, and hopefully we get somebody better. Because I also haven't been able to convert like anything in this playthrough at all, any counties, because the baby-eating bishop's learning skill is like 9 or 8 or something like that, and Muwalati has adaptive, which makes it almost impossible to convert counties, which was another thing that was annoying me this entire time. My vassals, my newfound vassals, were refusing to convert because my learning score sucked. So it was just like we were unable to really pacify any of the lands that we were conquering. And then my liege died, so I got a new one, which was actually my former vassal, but he only has 1 county, and I'm his only vassal. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit underneath this liege for the time being, and then when I need to declare independence, I'll just go up and siege his 1 holding. So this entire time, I could have fabricated a claim on or bought a claim on at some point the Kingdom of Galicia. So I could have been the King of Galicia for like the past, 25 at least years. But that kind of defeats the point of making Portugal. So I never did it, and I just sat as this singular duke for the entire game. I became infirm, so I started worrying about succession a little bit, and I was like, do I need to disinherit my second son? I wound up coming to the conclusion that I don't need to do that because I have this 1 province that's in another duchy. It's in the Duchy of Coimbra instead of the Duchy of Porto. So I just gave him that one because one of my pet peeves in this game is when my inheritance isn't perfectly lined up so that I am able to inherit my entire home duchy. I don't care about anything outside the home duchy, but if I have an inheritance happen and I don't retain every county in my home duchy, it like really triggers me. So he finally died, and now I'm a kid, which is really dangerous in Iberia if you haven't caught on yet. But of course, what do? First thing, kid, we're gonna fight a war. Screw realm stability. All of my vassals despise me at this point. But I noticed that the ones that were really upset were just joining a liberty faction because we were on limited crown authority and not autonomous vassals. And I'm thinking in my head, if I'm fighting this war, again with Morgannog, because the Welshmen are like the best allies in the game apparently, if I'm fighting a war and they push their liberty faction, I'll just say yes and go down to autonomous vassals because I don't really need limited crown authority at all anymore. I already revoked all of the land that I wanted to revoke earlier in the game. So we had a good opportunity to take this 1 county down here, and then after this, we only need the one immediately to the west. There is only 1 more county that we need to wrap this up, but it's going to be the most difficult county to get, I swear to you. Also, my character's a lunatic at 13. I didn't even know that kids could have that event happen to become a lunatic, but my kid is just wildly crazy at 14 years old. So riddle me that. I don't know how that happens, but the faction fired. I just said yes. What are you going to do? So our situation is really precarious, where we have barely no gold. We've been in debt like this entire time. There's only 1 more province to get, and the guy has 2,300 gold, and he's allied to Al-Sark, the Caliph, who has even more men than 2,300. So I'm just kind of sitting, waiting for something to happen, that guy to die, and then I realized instead of him dying, he swore fealty to Al-Sark. So now I'll have to fight the Muwalati Caliph over the 1 county that is left that I need when he has 4,000 men and like twice my allies. So, not really great there. And then I came of age, and wow, would you look at that? Look at that, 6 stewardship education. I don't even think, since I've started playing this game again, I don't think I have seen any of my kids get a 1-star education. I haven't seen that in so long. It is that bad to get a 1-star education. I was like, all right, hopefully I'm only playing this character for a few years. Tried to dismiss my regent. She said, no, try again in a year. And I said, okay, I will declare independence then. do what I said I was going to do earlier, just siege down your one county. Boohoo, your big, strong king man. I'm definitely your loyal vassal. Haha. Yeah, run. Run away while I burn your capital down. So I'm like, this campaign can either be over in the next, 5 years, or it can take me another 50, depending on if my realm decides to explode. Also, my tab list, oh my god, don't look at it. It's so ugly. There's so much going on. Normally I have all of that sorted. My tab list is like clean at all times, no notifications. But there was just so much going on. It was so overwhelming. Everything was going both wrong and right at the same time. So I'm like, oh my god. It's stressful. It's so stressful. But I realized Alsark really weak now, randomly, for some reason. I was like, this is our opportunity. And then I was rereading the requirements to form Portugal and realized that I actually have to own all of the duchy titles, not just control all of the land in them. So I needed to form 3 duchies and then also get another 300 gold for the decision. So we won the war really easily. My allies showed up for me. Morganog, shout out to the Welshmen. Very awesome. So I was blackmailing the Emperor of Francia for gold. I'm blackmailing random dukes and duchesses to try and get enough gold to make all of these duchies. The Duchy of Algarve was the last one that I needed. And then I just kind of speed 5 for a little bit to get up to 300 gold. And would you look at that? The Portuguese court. Amazing. Fantastic. Now I'm known as the Great, even though this is the most weird and incompetent character that I've had in a long time. And then as I sat on the screen, I just took a minute and I was trying to reflect, and I was like, was this campaign worth it to form Portugal? Am I in a good spot now that I've done this in this campaign? And I came to the conclusion of no, it's not. The campaign honestly wasn't that fun and the reward isn't that great. So aside from getting the achievement, probably 2 out of 10, don't really recommend. Anyway, see y'all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.